Excel is one of the most important tool for a data analyst, and one must know how to make the best use of Excel in their day-to-day job. For any data analyst project, you will be spending almost 10% of your time on the Excel, because more often than not, business user will provide the data on Excel to you, and you have to understand the data, you have to manipulate the data, and you have to do some sort of data analysis on the Excel itself. Even in your communication within your teams, within your stakeholders, and with the business user, you will be sending the results of your data analysis on Excel itself most of the time. So that is why, you like it or not, you must be a pro in Excel also if you want to excel in the data analyst job. This Excel tutorial will teach you everything a data analyst must know, like how to apply the formula, how to merge the different sheets in a single sheet, and how to visualize the data on Excel. To make the best use of this tutorial, one must practice, and you can download the material used in this tutorial from the link below. So let's get started. Here is the course introduction for the Excel. We will start with the basic and advanced Excel functionalities, and then we will learn various data manipulation techniques and do the data analysis to solve the real world problem. We will also go through the data visualization technique. The course is divided into 3 modules. In the first module, we will do the crash course on Excel basics covering cells, formula, pivot, and formatting. We will work on some movies. In the second module, we will prepare reports for business user using sorting and filtering and applying the advanced formatting techniques. In the second module, we are going to use the real world data set from the Ireland Lending Bank. In the third module, you will be doing the data analysis on the telemarketing datasets to find out which customers are most likely to buy the bank products using the telemarketing channels. And you will be finding the interesting trends and insight using the advanced data manipulation techniques. And we will be plotting such kind of graphs. How to go about the course? The best way is to practice. You have to practice along with the session by pausing videos wherever necessary. Replicate the analysis in your Excel and explore more options while working on Excel. Do all the assignment wherever provided. And in no time, you will be surprised to see that how much you have come and how much you have learned. So see you there. Welcome to the course Excel for Data Analytics. In this tutorial, we will start right from the basic, and we will go through most of the basic that you should know in order to get started with using Microsoft Excel. And the version that I'm using is on the Windows, and having said that, you might be having different version. But almost all the functionality, I can say almost 95% of the functionality will be same throughout the version of Excel. You might be having new version or the older version. It doesn't matter as long as you understand the concept. So let's get started. In order to start with the Excel, you right click the mouse and then click on the new, and you will see several options. So just click on the Microsoft Office Excel worksheet. So once you click, so it will display the worksheet here. Double click to open it. So as soon as the Excel is displayed, you can see here there are rows and there are columns. Now the columns are represented by the alphabets like A, B, C, D, and so on until G. And then it will start again with AA, AB, AC. It will try to make several combinations unless all the columns are taken. Now the rows are represented by 1, 2, 3, and 4, like this. Now the intersection of column and the intersection of row is called as cell. So now this cell is denoted by B2. So you can see it's an intersection of column B and row 2. So it is denoted by B2. Let me write here B2. Similarly, this cell is the intersection of D and the intersection of 4. So it is denoted by D4. Now at this point you might be thinking it is so simple. Yes, it is simple, but it is very, very significant. That we will know when we go on the advanced Excel. Now, if you see on the top, you can see several tabs. So by default, it opens in the home tab. Now there is an insert tab where you have several options like tables, picture, shapes, etc. Then there are some plots which we are going to draw later on. Then the text box, header and footer. There are several other options. Like with the other tab, if you click, it opens other tabs, other options. Then we have formulas, then data, review, and view. So Microsoft has given several options and it has tried to squeeze almost all the functionality on the top portion of the Excel. Let's go back to my home tab. So under home tab, you see several options. So, and these are called as ribbons. So remember, these are tab, and another tab, it is called as the ribbons. Now each functionality of the Excel is further grouped into different groupings. So like the first portion is called the clipboard, second is the font, third is the alignment, and then numbers, then styles and cells. So the most basic functionalities are shown here, and if you want to explore furthermore, you can click on this button. So it will show you some other options, more options. So there is no lack of functionality on Excel, and that is why they say Excel is a very powerful tool for data analytics. So as and when we study further on the Excel, we'll explore some options. So for now, let's explore column and rows. In our first session, we studied about the rows, we studied about the columns, we learned about the cell, and then there is one more thing called as the range. So range is combination of different cell. It can be this, or it can be combination of 3 cell on the rows. It can be a combination like a matrix, rows and columns, etc. So how do you name this? So let me select these many cell as a range and let me color. So this is used for coloring. Let me color and let me again put some markers, some borders. Let's see, all borders. Okay, so how do we name this? So the first cell and the last cell. So first cell name is B2 and this is the last cell which is D6. So the range, so the name of this is can be called as B2 through D6. So the word through is represented by the colon. So this range of cell is represented by B2 colon D6. So can you tell me what is the name of this cell which start with F and end on the H? So you can post your answer in the comment section below. Now we have gone through all the basic terminology in the Excel. So we have one more small thing to understand. So if you see on the bottom part, there you can find the sheet 1. So if you click next to the sheet 1, it gives another sheet which is sheet 2. Basically, it will open the another sheet. If you click one more, it opens the one more. So there are 3 sheets here. So here we have sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. So you can rename the sheet 1 like tutorial 1. You can change the name of the second one which is tutorial 2. Likewise, you can rename the sheet 3. So all these sheets combined together are known as the workbook. Now, so let us now create some data here on the Excel. So I will create some movie listing here. IMDb movies list. So this is my heading. Yes. So if you see here, I have typed IMDb movie list in the cell A1, but there are some portion which you can see is in the cell B1, but it is not so. The entire character string is still in the cell A1. So when you click on this one, just a portion between A and B column here, this portion, if you click here, it will show the double arrow like this one. So when you click, it will expand to give space to the list IMDb movie list. So let me list down some movies here. Let's say my first column will have movie name, the second column the date of release, third column IMDb rating, fourth column audience rating, then box office collection. Okay, so these are the headers for our data. So now if you notice here, the date of release, which you can also see here, is hidden in the cell. Now to unhide it, you have to double click the portion between column B and C. So you can see double arrows. So it has been. So now you can see the date of release here. So in the previous session, we have created this column header, which is movie, date of release, IMDb rating, audience rating, and box office collection. So let us input some movies here. So I'll put some famous movies, The Shawshank Redemption. So it is again taking the space. So double click here. So date of release. So it is in the year 1994. So let's assume it's on 25th of January 1994. IMDb rating is 9.2. Audience, let's assume, is 9.7. And box office collection, let's again assume, is around 5 million. So it's 5 million. So let's encode the second record. So next movie is The Godfather. So to move on the next cell, you have to click the tab, or you can go to the mouse. And if you want to go back, you have to put the shift tab. Likewise, if you want to go on the next row, you have to click enter. And if you want to go back, you have to do shift enter. Okay. So if you make the use of the shortcut keys, it will be very good. It will be very useful while working on the Excel. So I'm going to the right. I can also make the use of the right arrow or left arrow and go down arrow, up arrow. So the date of release for The Godfather was 1972. So let me assume 6th of June, which is 1972. IMDb rating is 9.1. Let's say audience rating is 7.8. And the box office collection, again, we are assuming all these. So 2.5 million. So we have extra 0. So 2.5 million. Alright, so we have encoded 2 movies here. So let us do some beautification here. So since this is my header, so there should be a difference between the column header and the actual main header. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click here bold, and then I want to bring this at the center of this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all these cells here, and look what I'm doing here. I'm clicking on the merge and center. So it's going to merge all the cell, and the string will come right in the middle. I am the movie list. I want to increase the font, so I can make the use of this option. So let's increase to 12. And then I want to change the background color, so we can make the use of these 2 colors for coloring. So now this icon, you click on this icon here and it will display the several options. So as you move your cursor, it will change the background color. Let me manage the background color as this. So let's click. But when you put the background color, you don't see the cell borders here. But I want to also see the borders here. So what I do here, I click on this border section and then I select all the borders. So our borders are back. So there are several other options which you can explore. Okay. Now on the column part, let's select all the column, and I also want to change the background color. So let's choose some different background color. Let's say this background color. And I also want to see the borders. So let me choose another border, which is a thick border. Okay. Now here, if you see the IMDb rating and audience rating, the width of the column is quite big, but the values are actually small. So I want to reduce the width. How I can do? I can drag this to decrease the width and this also. But now I'm not able to see the column. So what I will do, I'll click on the wrap text. So let's see here. So you can see that all the portions are still within the cell, but the width of the header has increased. So likewise, audience rating, just click on the wrap text. So audience rating and box office collection, the wrap text. So we have box office collection, just make it smaller. Likewise, date of release also, I want to wrap it. So if I click on the wrap, and then it automatically, the direction of the string changes. Okay. Now I want to format the date. It should be in the middle. So I have this portion which is right align, middle align. Sorry, this is left align, middle align, and right align. So I want to have a middle align here, and the numbers are right aligned, and the characters are left aligned. So this is a standard that you need to follow. Okay. Now, in order to make it bold, you can also press Ctrl B. It becomes bold here, and if you press Ctrl I, it becomes italicized. And if you want to have the underlines below this one, you can click on U. It is important to note that your Excel should be readable and it should be easy to eyes so that it is easy to do the analysis. Now there are two Godfather movie release, one in 1972 and one in 1974. So now I want to rename the Godfather movie as part 1 and part 2. So when I go to the cell and when I type here, it replaces everything. Godfather. But so when you click, we are on the cell, but I want to only just add some letters here, some alphabets, which is part 1. So I have to double click this one to go inside, and then you can move your cursor left and right here. So there is a difference between on the cell and inside the cell. And the other shortcut key is F2. So when you click on the F function F2, I'm on the Windows system, so it goes inside the cell. Okay. Now in some countries, the date format varies. Like some country, the first is month, second is day, and the year. And in some countries, the first is day, second is month, and then year. So what you do right click on this one and then click on the format cell. While there are some other options which you can still explore. So let me go to first to the format cell here and then click on the number. And then automatically our control is on the date because Excel is smart enough to recognize the difference between the character, number, and date. Now here we have several options. So like we have this 14 March 2001. Then if you want to have year first, you can have 2001, 3 and 4, etc. So let's say I want to have 14 March this format. So I'll double click this one. So it shows this one. So likewise, I can also change the format of this. So 14 March 2001. So 25 January 1994. So let's click on the numbers. So click on the format cell here and then number. Now here it is categorized into general because we have not actually specifically changed the cell format. So number. So how many decimal you want to maintain? Let's see, I want to maintain 2 decimal. So what I will do here? Let's say 2 decimal. So click OK. So if you see, it shows 9.20. Likewise, I will also change to this one 2 decimal number and 2 decimal 9.10. So audience rating, let's maintain to 9.7. And let's say box office collection. Since this is in the currency, this is a USD. So what I will do here, I will go to the currency portion and then I will change to USD here. Let's find out USD. Okay. Now if you want any decimal places, let's say I want to maintain 2 decimal. So here we are, USD 5 million. So likewise, I will change this also. Format cell. So currency. So it is showing RM here. This shows the default currency of the country wherever you are located. So I am in Malaysia now. It shows Malaysian ringgits. So let me choose here USD here. So click OK. So the two records for the movie is ready. Now I'm going to add some more movie list here, and then we will do our data analysis in the next section. Hi there. So now if you see here, I've added some more movie list here, The Godfather Part 2, Dark Knight, Angry Man, etc. Now if you notice here, the date format and some number alignments does not match with the some of the data. So we have to make it common across all the record. So what I will do here, I will select all this one, all the date column, and then I right click and select format cell, and then go to date and select the format which you need. So let me select the last one. So if you see, all the cell values have been changed to the common format. Now I select again all, and then I want to make it center aligned. So right click. So just click it here. So it's center aligned. Likewise, audience rating, I want to make it right align. So right align. Okay, now one more special function which Excel have is the copying the format. Now this column C is having the number of two decimal. So what I will do, I will select any one of the column here, and then I will select the format painter, and then I will select column D, all the values, and then just release the cursor. So what happens here then, it copies the format of the column C of two decimal into column D 9.70 without actually changing the value. So it has just copied the format. So this is a useful feature. I don't want to do that. So I will just click the back arrow on the top left side. I think it's not visible in your screen. So you can just see on the top left, just click and undo it. So it will revert to the original one. Okay. Now, a very useful feature which Excel has given to us is a conditional formatting, and is very, very exciting. So what I will do here, I will select this column, and then I will click on the conditional formatting. So it gives me a several color option or data bars, icon sets, etc. So I will go with the color scale. So what it will do, based on the value, it will change the color. Basically, it will tell us that which value is more important and which value is least important. It will evaluate internally, and it will display the colors on the cell. So let me select the first one. So where it shows the green at the top, and gradually when it goes down, the color changes to orange. So meaning the green is the most important and orange is the least important. Let me click it. So you see here, and I save it. Now to save it, the shortcut is Control plus S, or you can click the save button on the top left. So here if you see, 9.20 is the maximum value, and it has the green color, and then some middle values are 9 and then 8.7. So there are some intermediate colors. So this is a very useful feature, and you should explore more on this one. Let's say I select the box office collection. I again go back to conditional formatting, and then I choose the data bar. So let's say I choose the first one. So if you see, the cell where the data bar is the longest is having the highest value, is having the maximum value, which is 12 millions. So this is quite good feature, and it is very useful for the analysis. So there are some other option where you can define the rule here, like if the cell value is greater than the certain value, like if the box office collection is more than 5 million, so you can choose to display the color of your choice. Okay. Okay, now let us do some mathematics. So for that, I will go to the second sheet. I don't want to disturb this sheet here. I go to the second sheet. Okay. So what I do here, I encode the some numbers into different cell, like say column B2, 2 here, then 3, then 4. Now I want to calculate the total sum of these three values. So what I will do here, let's choose one of the cell, and then when you want to apply any formula, you have to click equal to here. So the very basic way to calculate the sum is to do 2 plus 3 plus 4, 2 plus 3 plus 4, and then click on the tab or click enter. So it gives me 9. Let me change the color just to differentiate it. So let me choose one of the color here. Okay, this is 9. I'll make it bold. Okay. Now the other method to calculate the sum is to use the actual function which Microsoft Excel has given to us. So to use the any function, you have to click on sum equal to, and then sum, then bracket. You have to always close the bracket. So when you close the bracket, it shows the format of the function. So you have to choose number 1, number 2, etc. So what I will go here, I'll take my control to the first number, and then I will drag down. So basically what we are doing a range. So B2 to B4. So once you have done, just click on the tab. So it gives me 9. I believe you should try first in your Excel. Okay. Now the other method is to again click one. So just click the first cell. So it's display the actual name of the cell, which is B2. Plus click on the second cell, B3 plus B4. So it gives me 9. Now, if you want to see the historical function that we have used, you can click on that cell. So here 9, if you see, it gives me 2 plus 3 plus 4. So we have used this formula. If you click this one, so here we have used sum B2 through B4. This is the range concept. And then lastly, we have used B2 plus B3 plus B4. Okay. Now let's go back to our first sheet. Okay, now here I want to calculate the total box office collection. So what I will do here, I will choose any one of the cell to display the data. So the best way is to just below that column. So I will put equal to, then sum is my function. And then since we are having a lot of records here, I will drag down from first record to the last record. So E4 to E11, and then I just click tab. So it gives me the total value of the box office collection. Likewise, you can also choose to select the different function. Let's say I want to find out the average. So when you type here average, it try to suggest the functions here. So just click on this one, average. And then it also suggests the formula, the format of the formula that we use. So here it again says the range, number 1, number 2, number 3. So let's click on this one and then select the range and then click on the tab. So it gives me the average. So what is the minimum? So for the minimum, we are having a function min. So close the bracket. Again, it says the range. So just select here. It will give you the minimum value. Similarly, so can you tell me what is the function for the max? So you can try at your home. Now when you click on the particular value, it will display the function that we have used here, equal to sum. Likewise, if you drag to the second value, it shows the average. The third value, it shows the minimum. Now since these are the important number, so what I will do, I will highlight these numbers here. So I go here, I change the font color. So I can choose the font color here. So let's say I choose the red color, and then I want to make it bold. So this is how we can do. The most common task that people do on Excel is to search for the useful result. And the way to do is by filtering or by sorting. So in this session, we are going to learn on how to do slice and dice. So now select the column header and then look for the filter icon. So here we have the filter icon, and when you click it, it will give several options like sort A to G, sort G to A, custom sort, and filter. So let us select the filter first and then we will go on the other options. So click, as soon as you select the filter, you will see a drop down menu created here. So now let us select all the ratings which are in the 9. So what you will do? So here we select all, so it will deselect everything, and let us select only the one with 9. So here we are. So these are the list of movies whose ratings are more than 9. Now to deselect it, you select all, and then again it will display all the values. Now if you want to order from the smallest to the highest, then you can select sort smallest to largest. So here we are. And if you want the other way, you just select largest to smallest. And the other way is to apply the formula. So you can select here number filter. So I want all the rating of movies which are more than 8. So what I will do, I'll put here greater than or equal to. So here we have the option. So I just put it 8 here. And if you want to add one more condition and is less than, let's say, 9. So I want all the movies whose ratings are between 8 to 9. So this is how to do it. So here we are, where we have these 4 movies which are between 8 to 9. So let us deselect again. So this again display. Now suppose if I want to select a particular genre, let's say I want only the action movies. So I select here, I select only action movies. And among these action movies, I want to do it by ascending order of the rating. So I can do here smallest to largest. So here we are. So what we have done, we have first selected only the action movies, and inside the action movies, we have arranged the movies in the order of increasing rating. So furthermore, we can still drill down and we can also order box office collection from increases to decrease, smallest to largest. So now I will remove all the filter from here. So I select all the column headers, and then again I select the filter. So when I select the filter, everything is removed from here. So let us apply the filter again, and then filter. So here, let's say suppose I want to find all the movies whose name start with T. So I can make the use of either I select one by one, but selecting one by one is not feasible when you have lots of record. So I can make the use of text filter, which is almost similar to the number filter that we have studied just now. So what I will do, I will make it begins with, because I want to select all the movie that begins with T. So let's see. So here we are having around 7 movies that begins with T. So if you might have noticed, you can also see the count which gives by default on the bottom right of the Excel sheet. On the screen you are not able to see because I have a limited display. So you can see on the bottom right, you can see the count. And if you click on the number, you can see 3 things on the bottom right. First is the count of the number of the values here. Then you can see the sum, and then you can also see the average value. So here we have selected those movies which start with T. So again in this filter, we can further apply another filter, which is, let's say, number filter, which is I want all the ratings greater than 9. So here, if you notice here, you can see the icon of the filter where the filter has been applied. Now we have applied the filter on the 2 columns. First is the movie, and second is the IMDb rating on which we have applied the filter. Now if you want to clear the filter, you can simply click on clear filter for IMDb rating. And then again also I clear the filter, and then I also clear the filter from from the. Now let us see the other option in the filter icon. So when you click it here, you can see there is an option of sorting A to G and sorting G to A. So what I will do, I will select the box office collection and then I want to sort from smallest to the highest box office collection. So I go here and then I select A to G. So here it will arrange the records in the order of increasing box office collection. Now filtering and sorting is quite common, and the shortcut key for filtering is Control Command plus Shift plus L. So it is Control plus Shift and plus L. Let us explore some more options of filtering and sorting. So let me select all the column header here, and then I go on the custom sort, click here. So expand the selection. So here we have an option of sorting on the multiple columns. Let's say I want to sort first on the genre and then values on. Now here we have this option cell color, font color or cell icon. If we have this, then we can select any one of them by choose to have a value only from A to G. Now add another level. Then I want to further sort by box office collection values from, let's say I want to have largest to smallest. So what this will do, it will first sort based on the genre, and then inside each genre, it is going to order by box office collection from largest to smallest. So click on OK here. So here we have the result now. Now if you see, the genre has been ordered from A to G, actions, fantasy and fiction. Now among these groups, you can see here the box office collection has further sorted from the highest to the lowest. So now I know that action movie, the highest box office collection is for the Dark Knight, and in the fiction, the lowest box office collection is for the Shawshank Redemption. So this is quite a useful sorting technique that you can use in your real life data analysis. In this session, we will go through pivot table. Pivot table is the most important feature and the most common among the world of data analytics, and it has the reputation of being complex. But after watching this session, it should be like a cakewalk for you. Pivot table is an Excel tool which reorganizes and summarizes the data into a spreadsheet, and it can be used for reporting for data analysis purpose. So there are certain tips that you need to remember. The very first tip is that the data should be well organized. So here I have this data, the movie list data. So I have organized into a table format. The way to do is go to the home tab and then look for format as a table. So I have already formatted my data as a table. Like you click here, so there are several options, and as you drag your mouse, the table on the background will keep on changing. So let us select which is very easy to eye. So I'm selecting this one. So here we are. The good thing about this formatting is that if we add a new values or a new row, it will automatically change the format as per the previous, as per the column format. Let's say I add a new movie here, Titanic, and the release date, I'm not sure. Let's assume 1st of January 2003, and then IMDb rating is 9.8. Audience rating is also 9.8, and the box office collection, let's assume, is 25 million. Okay, the second point to remember is that there should not be any blank row in the Excel. So like there might be a certain case here or maybe certain scenario here where you might be having a blank row. So you should not have the blank row when you are using the Excel for the pivot table. And the third tip is that you should avoid having any extra column. Like you might be having something like to add some new columns. So you might be having some remarks here and there. So you should not have those unnecessary columns. So you should always try to avoid them. So let me add one more column to have a better understanding of the pivot table. Let's say I want to add here rating range. You see, as soon as I add a new column, it is automatically converting into a format. So here we are. Now for the pivot table, what I will do, I will select all and then go to the insert here and click on the pivot table option. So it will automatically recognizes the range or the name of the table. So it is table 1, and then select on the new worksheet. It's always recommended to select the new worksheet. So click on the OK. As soon as you click on the OK, it will show the new. So if you see on the right side, so here we have all the columns on the sheet. So let me drag the genre. Now I want to know the box office collection by each genre. So drag down the box office collection on the value. Now see, as and when we are dragging the value, you can see here the display is changing. Now here we have the total box office collection by each genre. Let's say I also want to further subdivide into the rating range. So I can drag to a row level, and now you can see the output. So within the action movie, there are two rating range, 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. And for each, we are having a box office collection. And then also you can see the total summary on the top. Let's say I don't want like this. I want something at the column level. So you can see here, it is further divided into different columns here. So 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and the grand total. You can further put some filter condition also. So what I will do, I will drag the movie here in the report filter. And when we drag the movie in the report filter, so here it shows an option of the movie with a list down. So click on this one, and then you have an option of choosing the movie, Fight Club, Pulp Fiction, or you want to have a select multiple, then you can choose two movies, Fight Club and Pulp Fiction. And the entire summary is only for these two movies. And if you want to select all, click on the all. So it display all the movies. Likewise, if you select the other columns, the pivot table will become more and more complex. So you can select, so you can play with other columns and you can select and deselect. Now, another thing on the summary part, here we have option of different summary. By default, it goes for the sum. But when you click it here, you can see, you can click on the value field setting, and then it will give you the option of count, average, max, or minimum, etc. Now from this session, we will go through the real world data set. Now this data set I'm having is from the lending bank in Ireland. So here we have a historical loan data set from the year 2011 to the year 2016 or 17. So let's see the last. So till 2017. And there are around 1379 record, and there are around 29 columns. So you can see on how to see the count. To see the count of the column, you can click on the column header, and to see the count of the rows, you can click on any one of the column. So let us first understand some of the column. So first is the ID. So year and final D. Final D is also one of the ID. So employee length. So employee length is the number of year of experience in one of the company of the customer. This is one of the parameter to decide whether the loan can be given to the customer or not. Home ownership, whether he stays in a rented house or he has his own house. Then income category. Now if you notice, for each of the column, there is a category here. So let us first align the columns here. So I select on this one. So now you can see all the columns are visible. So for each of the column, there is another column which is a category column. So if it is a rented house, so it's a one. If it is a rented house, so home ownership is 1, and if it is if he is the owner, the home category is 2. Likewise, income category, whether low, medium, or high, annual income, income category. So again, the income category is also subdivided into 1 or 2 depending on the range of the annual income, the loan amount that he has applied, the term for the loan, term category, individual type, purpose of the loan, interest payment, whether it's a low or high, the loan condition, good loan or a bad loan. So good loan is the one where the customer is paying regularly. Bad loan is the one where customer are not paying their installment on a timely basis, or they are not paying at all. So this is the interest rate. The important column is the DTI, which is debt to income ratio. Lower is the better. So DTI decide whether the customer can pay his loan or not. Basically, whether his income is sufficient to pay that much amount of loan. So here I have inserted the comment. The way to insert the comment is to right click on one of the cell. Let's say I click on this one. So here insert comment. So you can type your own comment. So here let's say total paid loan. And if you want to edit, again you right click and then you can select on the edit comment. Then total recorded principal, recoveries. So recoveries are usually done for the bad loan, where the recovery agent will go through the customer and he will try to collect as much loan as possible once the loan are converted into a bad loan. Then it is the installment and the reason. So now I want to do some data analysis on a particular reason. So first of all, I'll put a filter condition by putting Ctrl Shift and L, which is a shortcut key. And then I will select the loan data for a particular reason. So let's go on the reason and click on the drop down menu. Let's say I want to select Connaught. So click OK. Now this Connaught is one of the region in the Ireland. So let's see how many records are there. So I click here. So there are 183 records. So what I will do, I will select this data by clicking it here, and then I do a copy, and then I go to the next sheet. To go to the next sheet, you can click on the bottom here, this insert worksheet. Click here, and then click on the paste. So it will insert the selected data, which is for the Connaught. So let's see the count again just to verify. So it is 183 count. Let us now change the width of the column here so that all the columns are visible. So click on this one. Now I want to further change the width of the column. So to do that, I click on 1, 2, and then right click it here. So you can see here column width is one of the option. I want to make it almost equal. So I put it 20 here. So both the columns have become of equal size. Sometimes it is important or sometimes it is good to have the column of the equal width. So for the easy analysis. Let's go on the right side. Now here if you notice that this number which is having around 6 decimal and this number which is having around 2 decimal. Intuitively, if you notice, you might be thinking this is a bigger number and this is a smaller number, but it is not so. It is because of the decimal point. So now we want to standardize all the numerical value. To do that, we can select all the values under this total payment column. So to do that, I do a shift, control and down arrow. So it will select all the columns. To select all the values in the column. So do again. And then we can make the use of this decimal or this decimal. But I do a right click here. I want to standardize everything to a 2 decimal. Format cell. Click on the number. So I want to maintain everything to 2 decimal. So click OK. Okay, now everything is 2 decimal. Now this number and this number, so when we see this, now this looks bigger, which is okay. Likewise, total recorded principal, I also want to make it to 2 decimal. I click Control Shift and then down arrow to select all the values, and then I'll make the use of this. So let me make it 2 decimal. So you can increase or decrease the number of decimal here. So I have made 2 decimal. So likewise, we can do on the installment and we can do on recovery. So this time I will select two columns here and again Control Shift and down arrow and make it to 2 decimal. Now I want to have all these number columns to be of equal width. So I do a select all these column, 4 columns, and then right click it, make it column width to let's say 15. So it has become equal width. Now so let me put some colors on the header so it's easy to differentiate. So I select all the columns here and then just change the color so it's easy to eye. Let's say, and then make it bold, Control B. So here we have, and then Control S to save it. If you want to rename the sheet, just double click on the sheet. So loan data cannot reason, Control S. I make the use of this. Now when we are reporting the data to a stakeholder or to the end client or end customer, so it is important to show only the important data so that they are not confused. So now we need to remove some of the unimportant data from here. So ID is of no use for us, so we just delete it. Year we can keep it for now. Final D also we don't need it, so delete it. So this category column we don't need it. So we can delete some of the unimportant column. So I'm deleting unimportant column. See here, term category we don't need it. All this category column are reprinted by their own parent column. So we don't need category here basically, so we can delete all. We also don't need the region because we already know all the data belong to this region, current region, and it can be known by the naming the sheet also as loan data current. So we can delete this current region also. Okay, so here we are. Now let's say suppose I want to find among the good loan and which is having the highest loan amount. So let's say suppose I am a data analyst working for a recovery company. So my objective is to recover as much loan amount as possible from the bad loan. So what I will do, I will first do a Control Shift L to select, and then I further filter it into a bad loan. So bad loan, and then I want to do order by the maximum loan amount. So now this data has been filtered by bad loan. Now I want to target the customer starting from the maximum, having the maximum loan amount. So I will order by loan amount from highest to the lowest. Let's say largest to the smallest. So I'll click it here. So it has been ordered by largest to the smallest. But now I further want to target those customer whose purpose of loan was the credit card. So let's select on the credit card. So here we have. So now this loan amount has been ordered by from the largest to the smallest. The purpose is credit card, and these all belong to the bad loan, and the reason is cannot. So I will advise my loan recovery agent this data, and so that they can start recovering the loan. We can further put some conditional formatting so that it's easy for the recovery agent to see. So I can select any one of the, let's say I select data bar. So you can see here. So the data bar has been applied on the annual income. So I can apply on the loan amount also, conditional formatting. Let's choose different color now. So this one. Here the value differences are not much, so we are not able to see the contrasting color. Let me choose another formatting. Let's say select data bar with this one. So here we have, so you can see the data bar going from a high length to the lower length. So here the question is for you. So if you're a recovery agent, whom you think you might be targeting the first? So from this we can see here that the loan amount is 10,000 for the last 3 customer. And if you also notice here is that for the last 2 customer, the salary is the highest. So it means that this customer has a higher potential of repaying back the loan because his salary is highest and his loan amount is the lowest. So this is the power of data analysis. So from this graph, like this bar graph, so it's very easy to see that which are the higher potential customer. Okay, let me deselect everything now. Control Shift L to deselect everything. Let's count the rows. So still we have 183 rows. Now for a good analysis, now if we scroll down, you cannot see the column header. So now to do that, we have to freeze these column headers. So select this column header and then click on the view. So here you can see freeze pane. So click on the freeze top rows. So you can see here a line on the bottom of the column header. It means that it has been freeze. So when you scroll down, so you can see the column header. Now if you move to the right, so I still want to see the year of the loan. So we can freeze the first column also. So freeze pane again. So freeze the first column. So when you move to the right, the first column has been freeze, and when you move to the bottom, the you cannot see the column header now. Now to freeze the first column and the column header, click on one of the cell. Let's say I click on this one, click on the freeze pane, and then click freeze pane. So now you can see a line on the bottom of the column header and the line on the right of the first column. So when you scroll down, so the first column is still fixed, and when you scroll to the right, so the first year column is fixed. Let's say suppose I want to freeze the first 3 columns. So to do that, I can click here on the 4th cell. Sorry, I can click on the second row and the 3rd cell. So click here. So click on the freeze pane. First let's unfreeze it, and then again freeze pane. So now when I move on the right, I can see the first 3 column, and when I move down, I can see the first header column. So this is quite important for the analysis purposes. It gives more flexibility to the user to do the data analysis. So I can change the color also now here and differentiate it. So now we can move the right in. So let us explore further on the conditional formatting. Let's say suppose on the annual income. Now I want to highlight all those record where the annual income is more than the average annual income. For the average, you can see here, which is 64,516. So click on the conditional formatting, highlight cell rule greater than. So I want to highlight all those which are more than 60,000. Okay. So click OK. So these are the customer who has above average annual income and they have a higher chance of repaying back the loan. Likewise, on the loan amount, I click on the conditional formatting. Let's explore some other one. Let's say I want to add new rule here. So here, suppose if the loan amount is lowest, so I want to make it green color. And if the loan amount is higher, I want to make it, let's say, red color or orange. So it will indicate the variation of the colors. So I can click OK. So you can see here the variation. If the loan amount is higher, it is having a darker color, a contrasting colors. So you can play further with the conditional formatting. It is a very useful tool for us, and it is good for highlighting the certain conditions. So let me go to the home ownership, and I want to highlight only the values with own. So basically the home ownership, if he is having his own house, so it means that he has the higher capacity to repay the loan. So let's click on this one and click on the conditional formatting. So now I go to new rule. So here we have several options. So I want to go with this. So format only cell that contain. So I want to select own. So cell value is equal to, so click on the own and type the value of the cell. So decide on the format what you would want to do with the cell. So I want to highlight it with the green color. So let's click green. And then if you want to further do a font change, so you can select, you can do a bold italic here. So click OK. So click OK. So you can see here the cell format has been changed. Let us explore one more option. Let's go to DTI, select everything, go to conditional formatting, and then we can make the use of icon. It is also quite useful. Let's click on the arrow here. So if the arrow is downward, it means that it has the lower DTI, and if it is sideways, it means that it has almost average DTI. So the average DTI, if you see here, is around 16. You might have noticed that conditional formatting is a very powerful tool for analyzing the data, and it is very helpful to display those cell values which might be hidden to the eyes. In the next series of lecture, we are going to do some data visualization by doing some plots. In this session, we will learn about using the border. So let me do some custom sort first. So I want to sort it by home ownership from A to G. And then I want to further sort it by using annual income from largest to smallest. And one more level by loan amount from smallest to largest. So I'm doing this because since I'm an analyst working for recovery companies, so I want to find out those borrower who has a maximum potential of repaying back the bad loans. So click OK. So here we are. So under the mortgage, you can see the annual income has been ordered by from highest to the lowest, and the loan amount has also been ordered by from smallest to highest. So let's see this income. And there are three borrowers having the same income, and this loan amount has been ordered by from lowest to the highest. Now from the home ownership, there are three kinds of home ownership: mortgage, then own, and then rent. So I want to divide this into different section of the report. So to do that, we can make the use of the border. So I go to the last record of mortgage, then I do Control Shift and then the right arrow, and then you click on the border. Now under the border, there are several options like thick border bottom. Then you can also draw a line color. So let me select bottom double border. So here we have this border. Now between own and rent, let me put the border here. Now a very powerful shortcut key in the Excel is the Control Y, where it will repeat the last process. So since I drew the border in my last process, so I will do Control Y. So it will draw the border here. So likewise, let us draw the border on the last record here on the rent side. So let's see. So I do here Control Shift and then Control Y. So you can see the border. So border is a very powerful technique to divide the reports into further categories, into different categories. Now you can also further color this border with the help of the options available here. So you can select here, then you can make the use of red line color. So here we can draw the line colors here. Now you can also make the border by the use of some colors. Let's say I select on the border, and then you go to choose line color. Choose one of the color here. Let's say red. So here my pen will be automated here. So wherever you move your pen, it will draw the lines here. Like this, I can draw line anywhere. like this. Then you can also choose the several line options like double line, dotted line, or the black lines. So when you draw your pen here, just select the lines here. Though it is not that common to use the line colors, so using the border is sufficient. Now, if you might have noticed, there are a lot of empty spaces here. Like here, we have a lot of space. Here, we have a lot of space. Even here, we have a lot of space. Now, you want to make the best use of this space. So, one of the way to do is to reduce the column length. So, we can do it here. But then our column is becoming invisible. We cannot read the columns like loan amount, then interest payment, then numbers. We want to bring as much information as possible to the eyes of the stakeholders. So to do that, we can select this column and we can make the use of wrap text. So what happened here is that the columns now occupy the space vertically. So now we have more space on the actual cell values. If you want to do similar the wrap text on the column, so you can select the column values and make the use of wrap text. When you decrease the length of the column, wrap text, so you can see here it is now occupy the space downwards on vertically. But then the alignment changes of all the values in the cell to the right, to the down aligned. Here is the standard practice is to make it on the top align. So here we have the option, so it goes to the top align. So likewise, we can select all the rows and all the columns and make it top align. So now the report looks more easy to eyes. In this session, you will learn on how to print an Excel sheet. If you have never tried printing in a spreadsheet before, you will see that there are a number of important steps involved in printing a Excel sheet. The objective is to learn the technique to print an Excel spreadsheet in as few pages as possible and to have the best possible readability. The very first step is to ensure the which column you want to print. Now, in order to decide that, you should know that how many columns A4 size can accommodate if you are printing on a A4 sheet, which is a normal process. Now, to do that, you have to go to a page layout and then look for the orientation. When you click on the portrait, it will display the borderline here. So it tells us that this is the limitation of the column which you can print in a portrait mode. But if you click on the landscape, you can add few more columns. So now till column L, you can print on the A4 size sheet. So let us try to print orientation on a landscape mode. So to do that, the shortcut is Control P. So you will see printer options here. So click on the preview. So when you click on the preview, so you can see here there are 14 pages which are ready for print. So let's go to the next page. So when you go to the next page, you can see here that the column headers are visible on the next page also. You click for the next page, and when you click on the 9th page, you will see that there are remaining columns which are now ready for print, but we don't want this to be printed. So we have to remove this from our Excel sheet, from our Excel spreadsheet. So you can remove this column from here or you can hide it. So let's hide it, right? So it has been hidden. Okay. Now you might have noticed that the column headers are fixed on each spreadsheet because of this setting. So when you click here, print titles. So here rows to repeat at the top. So here I have mentioned the column headers here. Now if you want to also print the columns which are to be repeated, so you can mention the column range here. So this is very similar to the view where we have fixed the first row and first column. But usually we only print the top row on every sheet. So the other point to note is that I have also selected the grid line to be printed and even heading also to be printed. If you don't want grid line to be printed, you can remove from here. And you can also, if you don't want heading to be printed, you can also remove the heading from here. But more often than not, heading has to be printed, and grid line is also advisable to be printed, so it's very easy to read. So let's do a print preview again. And now, yes, you see there are 7 pages which are ready to be printed. On the next page, next page. So here we have. Now another important step to remember is the margin. So here we have several options for the margin, like last custom setting, normal, wide, and narrow margin. So usually the narrow margin is the best bet to print. So select on the narrow margin, and then let's do a print preview again. So here you can see the margins here. So here you can also scroll up and down, so to accommodate more sheet. And then you can move it on the right side also. So here you can see now 6 pages are enough to print. So now we have reduced from the initial more than 15-16 pages to only 6 pages for print. Security of data is usually of critical importance to most of the organization. You often want that the data should only be read by few individuals and it should not be edited by without your permission. In this session, we will learn on how to log the Excel sheet, and also we will learn on how to name the worksheet, which is often incorrectly performed. Now to log the worksheet, you can go to the Review tab and look for the Protect Sheet. So click on the Protect Sheet. So here you have password option. So you can enter your password here. And after entering the password, you should note down somewhere so that you don't forget it. And there are several options, and you can choose the option where you want user to perform the changes. So most often I will select the first few options only, and I will not allow insert column, insert row, etc. So I will allow user to do only formatting of the rows, formatting of the column, formatting of the cells, etc. So click OK. It will again ask to reconfirm the password and click OK. So here we are. So let us try to change anything. As soon as you try to change, it will show this message. But if you want to change the formatting, so you can change the color here, you can change the formatting, you can increase the size, you can decrease the size, etc. So all these things can be performed. So let's go back to the protect, and we can unprotect the sheet. So it will again ask for the password here. So now you can change the cells. Let us now go through the process of naming the file. Suppose you are a team lead and under you there are 10 data analysts who are working on the file for the loan recovery. Suppose all those 10 data analysts send you the Excel file. Then how do you differentiate one file from the other? The way to do is to establish a unique key to distinguish from one file to another file. The name should start with which is more unique and end with the less unique way. Let us say I am having 4 loan data file. So the differentiation between these files is the date stamp, time stamp here. So my first file is of 3rd July 2020, second file is 5th of June, and third file is 6th of June. So my unique key is the timestamp. Now you can also have another method, like you can put the employee ID of the data analyst here and followed by the actual file name, Loan Ireland. One of the trick is you should always think about naming the file from the point of view of user and not from your point of view. Naming the file becomes especially important at a larger scale when your file is likely to get lost among a number of similar looking ones. Also, we try to do a lot of stuff to reduce the time spent by the reader to understand the report or a data. So there is no point doing that if a person takes an hour just to find a file. So I hope now you know how critical it is to name the file properly and in a unique way. The objective of the data analysis is to find the interesting trend and insight. And that is why your thought when doing the data analysis should be focused on asking the intelligent question to yourself. And that is where you should be knowing the way to do the data processing faster on the Excel sheet. And that is where the trick of knowing the shortcut comes handy. Now the problem with the mouse is that it takes quite a bit of time in order to move the cursor from one icon to the other. The other problem is that you have to go to the tab and then you have to click on one of the icon, which is obviously very small here. Now suppose if you know the way to go here with the help of the key, then it will be a blessing in disguise. Now to do that, you can press Alt. Now as soon as you will press the Alt, it shows the various key option. Let us press now H. Now when you press H, under the Home tab, it will display other key options here. Let's say I want to go to the sorting and filter. So what I will do, I will click on the S now. So when you click on the S, it shows the other options, other keyboard shortcut inside the other options in sort and filter. Now I click on the F. Now you see here, there is a filtering option on the column header. Let me click again on the Alt here again, then click on H here, click on S and click on filter. So using the shortcut key should become a habit while doing the data analysis. And to start with, you can start practicing using the Alt key. Again, I press Alt key, so it will display the other options layer. Let's say suppose I want to go to N here, it shows the insert, then I click on the pivot table, which is V, then T here. So once you using shortcut key, it will be very helpful, and so that you can focus on doing the data analysis rather than worrying about the icons and the way to process certain data. Make it a habit of using shortcut religiously. With time, your fingers will get habituated to the most commonly used shortcut keys, and you will no longer have to spend time remembering the same. It also helps to remember some of the most commonly used shortcuts like inserting a column, advanced formatting, inserting a chart. From this session onward, we are going to study one of the most common and interesting business problem, which is acquisition analytics. The business problem here is we have to find those customers who are likely to say yes to some of the bank products. The data set which is given consists of around 45,000 records having the details of their demographic data and their historical response to the past bank product where they have said yes or no. So depending on the historical data, we are going to find out that which customers are most likely to say yes to the future bank products if they are sold via telemarketing channel. So telemarketing refers to the call center. So while doing the question analytics business problem, we are going to cover the following. The first is the formula in Excel. We are going to use some complex function, cell referencing and test function, logical formulae, and above all, we are going to use the charts for data visualization. Note that in this case study, the objective is to find the customer which will eventually reduce the cost of marketing. Meaning to say, if we are able to segment the customer who are likely to say yes, then the cost of marketing will be reduced dramatically. This kinds of analysis is the most common and is widely used in banking, insurance, and in other industries. And the end result should give us an actionable insights which can be used for a business. If it can't be used in a business, then there is no use of insight, even though you might be using lots of data and fancy tools or very complex programming. So I hope you are excited and ready for doing this acquisition analytics. So as you can see, there are about 45,211 records. One record is counted for the header. Now this is the data of some people who were contacted by our telemarketing channel. Now he is a person with age 58 and his job is a management. His salary is about 100,000. He's a married. Education is tertiary. And then At the time of contact, he was having a balance of around 2143, have a house, no loan, and then he was contacted on 5th of May for 261 seconds, and his outcome is unknown, and the final response was no, means he did not buy the product. So let us see some data with yes. So here we have, so let me color this. Now this person, he showed some interest in the product and the response is yes, means positive. So he was contacted for 513 seconds on 8th of May, and he is an admin with a salary of around 50,000. So let us see how many people gave a positive response. So what we will do, we'll apply a filter using the keyboard shortcut, which is Alt, H, S and F. And then let us select with having a response of yes. So click on yes. So now there are total of around 5289 out of 45,211 who said yes. So now based on this data, our objective is to find the profile of those people who are more likely to say yes, meaning we are going to do prediction for the future telemarketing campaign. In this session, we will go through bank's telemarketing business problem to understand the types of customer which should be targeted for the future marketing campaign. The dataset contains the demographic data and some personal information of about 45,000 people and their responses to a particular telemarketing campaign, whether they bought the certain product when contacted by the bank's telemarketing channel. Now, our objective in this session is to identify the attribute of those customers who are more likely to buy the certain product when marketing channels market them. And this is called a classic example of acquisition analytics. In the previous session, we learned on how to format the data, remove unwanted column, sorting and filtering, and all those was meant for reporting and consuming the data. Now in this session, we are going to do an actual data analysis on this telemarketing data. In short, we are going to do a data exploration to come up with the business insight and to find out the interesting trends. So as you can see, there are about 45,211 records. One record is counted for the header. Now this is the data of some people who were contacted by our telemarketing channel. Now he is a person with age 58 and his job is a management. His salary is about 100,000. He's a married. Education is tertiary. And then at the time of contact, he was having a balance of around 2143, have a house, no loan, and then he was contacted on 5th of May for 261 seconds, and his outcome is unknown, and the final response was no, means he did not buy the product. So let us see some data with yes. So here we have, so let me color this. Now this person, he showed some interest in the product and the response is yes, means positive. So he was contacted for 513 seconds on 8th of May, and he is an admin with a salary of around 50,000. So let us see how many people gave a positive response. So what we will do, we'll apply a filter using the keyboard shortcut, which is Alt, H, S and F. And then let us select with having a response of yes. So click on yes. So now there are total of around 5289 out of 45,211 who said yes. So now based on this data, our objective is to find the profile of those people who are more likely to say yes, meaning we are going to do prediction for the future telemarketing campaign. In the previous session, we went through the bank marketing data set, and our objective is to find the profile of those customers who are more likely to say yes to the certain marketing campaign. Now in this segment, we are going to understand the process of segmentation of the certain values, and then we will also understand on how to apply the Excel formula. Since I want to find an interesting trend or insights into a demographic of the customer to have a meaningful business outcome, so I might well apply a certain formula in the Excel. So let us analyze an age. So when I click on the age, let's see what is the average age. So the average age of the customer data is around 40.9. So let us see the average age of those customers who said yes in the previous campaign. To do that, I will apply a filter. So going by the shortcut keys again, then S and F. So let's select the average age of yes customer. So select here yes. Now to get the average age, go to the average age column and select the entire row. And here on the bottom right, you can see the average age here, which is 41.67. Let's see the average age of those customers who said no. Can we find anything with this age? So I select only no. Now here average age is 40.83. It means that there is no big difference between the average age of those customers who said yes and the average age of those customers who said no. So can we find out anything if I group the age into a certain segment? Let's say if I group the age between 0 to 20, 20 to 40, or 40 to 60, or we can also see if there is any trend if I group the age into 10. I mean into the group of 10 tens, like 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and 40 to 50. To do that, I'm going to insert one column. To insert the column, you can right click it and click on the insert. Or the other way is to apply the shortcut key, which is Alt, I, and C. So again, to insert the column, you can click on the column and then select the insert column here. Or you can apply the shortcut key, which is Alt, I plus C. I don't want two columns, so let me delete the one. And let's name this as the age band. Now to get the age group, we can apply the formula, which is, now to apply the formula, click on any of the cell and then click on the equal to sign. As soon as you click on equal to sign, the cell is enabled to apply the formula. So to apply the formula, you can put 1 plus 2, and if you put tab, it gives you 3. Or you can put 5 plus 5 into 10, it gives you 50. So apart from using formula as a calculator, you can reference the other cell to apply the formula. Now to reference the other cell, I click on this on A2 and then divide by 10, which is 5.8. Likewise, I can apply the formula on A3 also. So click here and divide by 10. Or if you don't want to control by mouse, you can also type the cell name, which is for 33, the name of the cell is A4. So you can type A4 here and then divide by 10. Now to type the formula one by one is very cumbersome. The other way is to copy paste. Now to copy paste, you can go to home page, click on the copy, go to the next cell and click on the paste. Likewise, you can copy this and you can select multiple cell to copy. So it will automatically calculate. So it will dynamically change the formula depending on the name of the cell. So like on the A7, it shows A7 over 10. You can see the actual running formula here, A7 over 10. Now again, I have a lot of cells to copy, so I cannot do one by one. Now to do that, you have to click a small box here and you just double click on this. So it will simply copy all the formula to last cell. So you can see here 3.7. But still my objective for the age band is not complete, because if the age is 58, I want this to be age band of 5. If it is 44, I want to be age band of 4. So that is why I need to apply one more formula, which is round down to the nearest integer. And if my age is 51, I also want it to be in the group of 5. And if it is 33, I want to be a group of 3. To do that, I'm going to apply another formula here, which is round down. So here you can see an fx function here. If you double click it, it will display the option of choosing different formula. So I click here, round. So here we have a round down. Now the format of the round down is the number and the number of digit. So I click OK here. So here you can mention the number, means, so here you can see the formula here. You can directly mention here a 2 over 10, and the number of digit I want to be a 0. Now as and when I'm typing it here, you can see dynamically it is written here, round down a2 over 10 0. But this is wrong, so I will click OK here, and then I will retype it again. So I just remove this one. I want the round a2 over 10 inside the round down function. So here you can see, then click on this a2 over 10 and 0 and close bracket. So here we are. So now it shows the formula as round down a2 over 10 up to 0 decimal places. Now I want to apply same formula on all the cell. Remember what is the option for that? Just click on the small box here and it will copy the formula applied on this cell to all other cell. So here we are. I already have a column C age group, for which I have already created the category. So it is for just for showing purpose. So now we can delete any one of the column. Let's say I want to delete, let me delete this one to remove the duplicate. So here we are. So now our age band is ready. In the previous session, we have calculated the age band. We have divided the age into a certain age group in the segment of 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 0 to 10, etc. Now let us analyze the response rate by each age group. In order to do that, we can simply go to the column R. Let me change the name of the column, response. So whether is yes, yes, no. Okay, I have changed the column so to have a better understanding. Now to find the response rate, we have to calculate the total number of yes over the total number of records. Let's say, let me select the first age group. To do that, I'll go to Alt, H, then S, and then F. So let's select the first age group, which is 1. So the one age group is for those whose age lies between 10 to 20, means either they are teenager or they are college going or they are students, and they are students. Now the total number of count of the record is 48. Let's mention here 48. Let me create a new sheet here. So here I can put the age group, and then I can put the age group of 10 to 20. Okay, let's put 1 here. So here I can put the age group here, age group 1. So my total record is 48, and total yes suppose is, let's say the yes. So my yes is 19. So 19 it is. And so my response rate is, I will use the formula here, D2 over C2. So 19 over 48 into 100. So 39.58% is the response rate. Likewise, I can do for the age group. Let's do for 4 here. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing manually. So to select 4, I remove filter again. Then I select the age group 4. Click on the 4. So the total is here, which is 11,656. So for 11,656. And how much is the positive response? Just select the one with yes. So this is the manual way of doing it. 1064. So to apply the formula, you can copy the cell. So here our response rate is 9.12%. So here we are doing manually. Let us do automation here. Let's apply some automation. So I just remove the filter again. So what I will do, I will simply replace yes with 1 and no with 0. And then we will calculate the average, which will give us the actual percentage. So now to replace it, select all the values in this column and do Control H with the shortcut key for the replace find word. To yes, I want to change it to 1 and then replace all. Replace all. So we have replaced it. Likewise, we can replace no with 0 and then replace all. Okay. So close. So now you can see that we have replaced the response yes with 1 and response no with 0. So in the next session, we will calculate the percentage of response in some other way. We will try to automate it. Let us calculate the average response rate by each age band and let us see if we are able to find any interesting trend. So let's apply the filter condition again. L, H, S and F. So select the age band first. Click on the first here. And then let us see the average response rate. So select all. So here you can see 38.29%. So it's quite high. Let's see on the 20 to 30. So let's see the response rate here. And it is 17.41. So it is considerable down. So again on 3. On 3 also it is 10.57%, which is quite less here. So let us jump to 5, which is almost to retirement age. And here it is 9%, which is too low. So this is too low for the age group of 50 to 60. So it's interesting trend, and during this period, people are more busy in saving the money rather than spending it. And then let's see the group of people after retirement. 6 on the 6th. Now here we have 29.67. Suddenly there is a big jump from 9% to 29.67 within the age group of 50 to 60 and 60 to 70. So it says that the retired people are a good target. Let's see on the age band of 7. Can we see the same trend? So here also you can see it's a 42%. But then the count is 425 only. But still 42.45% says that the marketing campaign can be targeted for them. Let's see on the age group of 8. So it is 39.67%. So from this analysis of the age band, we can safely conclude that the teenagers whose age is between 10 to 20 and the retired people, they are a good target for the marketing campaign. Let's see any other demography that can reveal some other inside information. Let us focus on the marital status. Let's apply the filter on the marital status here. On the marital status, select the marital status here. So click on the married and let's see the response rate here. And then from this, the response rate for the married is 10%. And let's see the response rate for divorce. For divorce is 11%. And for the single, what is the response rate? Let's see that for the single. Single is 14.9%. So the good target is the single customers whose response rate is almost 15%. But then all the analysis is bit manual and I don't want to do that. I want to automate some formulae. Let's say I want to calculate the response rate of married and response rate of divorce and response rate of single. So I want to apply some formula and it should give the result automatically. If you have noticed, for the marital status we are having three values: married, divorce and single, and the spelling of divorce is wrong, which is quite common if you are typing it manually. I don't want to do that. I want to select from here, from under the marital status. So what I will do, so here suppose I don't know how many values are there, as there are a lot of records. So I will select all here. I'll copy it. So let's first remove the filter, so that because I want to select all here. Okay, now let us select all. So Control C. So what I will do, I'll paste it here. Let's say here. Okay. Now from here, you observe that what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the duplicates here. So this is one way of removing the duplicate. So here to delete duplicate, select one or more column that contain a duplicate. So I have selected the one column here. So all the duplicates have been removed. And what is left over is only the unique value, which is married, single and divorce. So I want to talk about this. So this is how we can remove the duplicates. Now here I want to calculate the average response rate by using a formula. Now at this point, I don't know which Excel function to apply, but I know I want to use a formula of average. So what I will do equal to, which will enable the formula function, and then I will click to open. And because I know only average, so I will calculate the average here. I will type the average here and I will go, and then Excel will display all the option of average which is available here. So let's say I want to apply average if, because here I want to apply a condition. So that is why if comes to my mind and average. So average if I feel is suitable for this. So I click on the average if. So it gives me an option. So here we have to put a range. So the range will be for the marital column. So I click here on the first cell and then I click on the shift, control and down arrow to go all the way to the last value of this column. So it will select this one and it will display here range D2 to D45212. Now the criteria. The criteria is the unique values which is married. So I click on the married, so it will display T2 here. The average range, the range of the rating. So click on the first one and click on the control shift and down arrow to go all the way to the down. So now as soon as we click the last one, so it already displays the calculated value here, which is 0.10, almost 10%. So click on the OK. So now here we have the formula for the married, which is 10%. Likewise for the single, you can copy paste the cell or you can click the small, very tiny square here. So double click it and it will display. It will copy the formula on another set two values. So single is having the 14% and divorce is having almost 11.9%. So single customers are good target for the marketing campaign. But here you might have noted one thing. If you scroll my cursor up and down, so it will display the current formula. So on the married, it is having this formula, but if you scroll down, you will observe that even the range is also changing, D3 and R3. But I only want only T3 to change. The T3 here refers to T3 is T single. So T is this column and 3 is this. Likewise, diverse also it got changed. But I don't want to change the range. Now, if you don't want range to change here, you can put a dollar sign, which is a very special function here. The moment you put the dollar sign, the range become fixed here. So you can put the dollar sign. I would T2, let it be same because I want to have a dynamic dollar and dollar. So click on it. Likewise, you can change the other one. So now if you scroll down and up, you'll observe that only T2, T3 and T4, the second parameter is changing. So that is how you can apply the complex function here. So the logic of this formula is, during the execution, it will pick up a married and then it will try to compare the married against all the rows, all the values under the marital column. So it will filter out all the married and then it will apply the average on the column R, which is response. So that is how it calculates internally. Remember that the application of dollar sign is very, very important, as we want the certain value to be fixed and we want only certain value to be changing. So this you have to practice more and more in order to gain expertise in this. In the previous session, we have done the analysis based on only one column. We have done on the age band and we have done on the marital status. It is also possible to do the analysis on the combination of two or more than two columns. And let us see if it gives some different insight. Are we able to find any different trend if we combine the two columns? So let us combine marital and education. And let's see if we can find any. Let's do that. Let's name the column here, marital education. Now to combine the two columns, we have the concatenate function. So we can use concatenate here. So select the marital. So D2 here. Then I want to concatenate by hyphen, hash, and tertiary. So here we are. So this is married tertiary. This is one way. Now the second way, we can make the use of ampersand. So I feel ampersand is quite easy to use. To do that, we have to select this column, then ampersand, and then hyphen here. Again ampersand, and then tertiary. So here we are, married tertiary. So now we can simply copy. We can simply click on the small square bracket so that the formula is copied in all the cells. So here we are. Now suppose if I don't want to use the mouse to copy this value, to copy the formula in all the cell, the easy way I can do is copy this and then go to the neighboring column and do shift control down arrow to go to the last value and then click on the right and then control shift and up arrow and do control D. So here in this process, for me, I never use the mouse here. So I feel it is more easier to use the keyboard shortcuts rather than copying the mouse. And now I want to have one more column. We are going to follow the same process of average if function. So now I'm going to copy this entire values, control C, and then go to the next column, control V here. So when you do control V, what you have seen, the formula has changed here, but I don't want to do that. I want to maintain the same value. So what I can do, I can make the help of paste here. So in the paste, there's a paste special, click on the paste special. I simply want to paste the value and not the function. So here we are. So here we got the values here. Now if you scroll down here and under the function field, under the function value, you can only see the value and not the function. Now we need to remove the duplicate to find the distinct value. To remove the duplicate, you can go to the data and remove duplicates. So click OK. So after removing the duplicate, we have the 12 unique values. So here I can put the category. Now we are going to calculate the response rate for each category here. Response rate, suppose the column. And we are going to use the same function that we have used previously for the marital status. So average if, and then select this range here, then comma here. So I need the first one, U2, then select the range of the response here, and then close bracket. So here we are. So we have this first value. Now we don't want to change the range here, so we can make the use of dollar here, dollar sign, dollar here, dollar, dollar. So now click down arrow, click this cell, this small tiny square. So now we can convert this into the percentage. To convert into the percentage, you can go to the home and then click on the percentage. So here we have 13%. So here single unknown and single tertiary are the good customer for target for the marketing campaign. But the merit secondary is having only 9% response rate, and merit primary is also having a 8% response rate. Now I am a bit of lazy and I don't want to read the number. So what I can do, I can go and apply our favorite conditional formatting with bars. Let's say I want to have a color scale and green. So here if you see, the cell having the green color 18% are the good candidate for the marketing campaign, while the cell having dark orange is the bad customer. Now here under category, the name seems to be quite big, but I want only to have a code here, something like category code, So if it is merit tertiary, I want to have MT, and if it is single secondary, I want to have SS, and if it is merit secondary, I want to have MS. Now how to do that? Now to do that, we can make the use of the left function. So what left function will do, it will return the number of letter depending on the character. Let's say merit, and then I want 1, so it will return the M. Now since we have already concatenated, so I will first separate it one. So I will do Control C, Control V here, then text to column. So we will separate these two first. So click on the next. So others, so it's separated by others here. We'll click on the next and then finish. So it has been separated. So now individually we are going to extract the first letter of this value. So we'll make the use of left function, bracket close, and then first character we only want, so M. But I want it to be in a uppercase. So we have a function called upper. So I will put here upper here. So we are building a function inside the function. So M. So now Control C, go to the neighboring column, Control Shift down arrow, then other one, then Control Shift up, and then Control D, and then Control V. So now let us do concatenate with our ampersand function, ampersand, then hyphen inside, then another ampersand. Oh, this is ampersand, this is the dollar sign, ampersand. So here, and then T, and this empty. So click the tiny square here, Control C. So I can now simply replace this to here. Let's say here category code. So now I copy it here and do paste special. To do paste special, go to here, paste special, and copy only the values. So here we are. Let's say I have a scenario where my manager asks me to exclude all those customers whose age is less than 20 and who are retired, whose age is more than 60. Now how to exclude? For that, I'll create one new column here, insert, and then I'll make it qualified yes or no. Qualified Y and N. So I'm going to tag all those customers who are qualified, meaning whose age lies between 20 to 60 years. Now how to exclude? To do that, we can make the use of a logical function called as if. So I'll make the use of if here. So close bracket. So if my age is greater than 60, so it should have no. So I mention here and else it should be y. Now this if function can take any one of the two values. Either it can be n or y. So let's click copy paste on some of the columns here. So here we are. So here my age is less than 60. So let's see the one with 60. Let's say for test I change the value here to 70. So it becomes n here. It means our formula is working. But still my objective is to exclude even those customers whose age is less than 20. Now to do that, I'm going to use a nested if. So I'm going to use another if inside this if. So if here, so A2, since my current cell is 21, so I make the current here A21 less than 20. So it should have n. Else it should be y. Okay. So let's close that bracket. Alright. So let's copy paste this formula. Let's copy this formula to all the cells here. Okay. So let's do order by here. L H S F and do order by from smallest to largest. So here we are. So below the age of 18, the qualified flag is N. And if I go to the last record, so more than 60 it is still N. And in between you will find all our Y records. So here our function looks quite complex. So we can simplify this function further. So let's remove the filter again. So now here we can also make the use of the OR function. So let's write the function again here. If close bracket, then I make the use of OR, and then let's say A2 if it is greater than 60, or if A2 is less than 20, then it should have N, else it should have Y. So now this function serves the same purpose. So here you can see in the last you will see N, on the top you will see N, and in between, which is more than 20 and less than 60, it is all Y. In this session, we will go through the Excel chart and we will do some data visualization. Charts are very useful and it's very easy to communicate the business insight to the users. These are widely used and it conveys the key information to the end user very easily. The charts are used in two ways. The first is to explore the insights in the data, and second to find the pattern, trends, and any outlier in the data which is not visible to the eyes. Now on the Excel, we have different kinds of chart. The first and the most common is the bar chart, and these should be used when you have two variables. One is categorical and other is numeric. For example, job type and salary. Job type is categorical and salary is numeric. The second is the stack bar chart. This is also very common, and this can be used when you have the two categorical variables and when you have one numerical variable. Example is job type, gender, and salary. So here job type and gender are the categorical variable. Line chart, similar to the bar chart, can be used when we have one categorical variable and the other is numerical variable. So this is also quite common. Pie chart, on the other hands, are hardly used as they have a poor readability. So this also can be used with one categorical variable and one numerical variable. Scatter plots are used when you have the two numerical variables. Now, if you have a time or date as a variable to be plotted, then it should always be plotted on the x-axis of a line chart. So let us now do some hands-on and let us see if we can find some interesting trend and insight from the charts. Charts and visualization are how a data analyst communicate with the business user. You might have seen the PPT or presentation by the managers, by CEO and analyst. Charts are widely used in the industry because it is easy to communicate and is easy to understand and is also very informative in terms of deriving the business insight. So in this session, we are going to do some plots. So we already have our data that we have previously calculated, like response rate for categories like married, tertiary. Then we already also have the age category and its response rate. So let us do some plotting. Now to do the plot, you can select the required columns, like we have two column categories and response rate. You can select and go to insert and then click on the chart. So here you will see by default there are several options. So the most common chart and the most widely used are the bar charts. So let's click on the columns and then click on one of the chart. So let's click on this one. So as soon as you click, Excel will already create the bar chart for you. So let us increase the size. You can increase the size by clicking on the corners. Okay. Now here we have several options. Now by default it gives a response rate. So let us change the name by double clicking it. So we can say chart of category versus response rate. You can change the column here and then you can move this left and right by dragging it. And here my categories are here, which is on x-axis, and my percentage are here, which is on the y-axis. So here you can see several options. So let's click on outside the chart here and click on the right click. So here you can do a format chart area. So here we have several options. Let's see one by one. Now here is automatic. So we put here no fill. As soon as you put no fill, you can see the backgrounds here. So let's have a solid fill here. Now for the solid fill, you can change the colors. So you can choose any one other professional color which you like. And then transparency, you can increase or decrease. So basically you can play with all the options. Now the border color, which is outside border, you can always drag here these charts by doing the right click. Then border styles. So here you have several options. If you want to increase the width, you can increase the width here. Then shadows, you want to maintain shadows. Like this you can do. Actually the objective here to format the chart is to make the chart more beautiful and easy to eye for the business user. And of course for your managers or CEO or CTO. So let's click on inside here. So when you click on the inside, it also gives you these options like separated or overlap. So you want to have a gap or large gap. So you can play with all the options and choose the one which is required by the users. Now click on the fill, solid fill. So the fill give the same color, or no fill, or have it automatic. So let's close this one. So here on doing the format axis, you will see here lots of option. Now here the minimum is auto. So here minimum means the value. So our value is starting from the 0%. If you don't want to have a 0%, then you can mention the percentage value here like 2, which will be 20%, and then click on the tab, you can see the changes. So 20%, but we don't have the values up to this range. Let's say I want to start with 2%. Click on the tab, so you can see 2%, 4%, 6%. So let's have it auto, which is 0%. So what is the maximum here? You can see my maximum is 20%. Suppose if you want to, because our plot is still 18%, so let's make it 18% here, which is 0.18, and then click on the tab. So you can see the maximum bar touching the roof. So what have it default auto, or if you want to make it 50%, let's make it 0.5. So 0.5. So here you can easily see the difference. When your maximum was 18%, then it looks like the objective has been achieved. But when you make the maximum as a 50%, it looks like there are still a lot to achieve. So this is how you have to explain to the business user or to the customers. So have it auto here. Now the major units. Now for the major unit, the differences are here is from 2 to 4%. If you want to increase or decrease the differences, so here you can change it. Let's make it 0.1 or 10%. So click tab. So here you can see the variation by 1%, 2%, 3%, but have it auto again. So the variation is by 2%. Let us now see on the x-axis what are the options we have. So click it here and right click and go to forward axis. So here we have several options. So let us go through some important options here, like interval between tick marks. So what are the tick marks here? So the tick mark is this tiny bar. So like this one, this and this. So if I make it 2, you can easily see the differences here. I make it 2 and then enter tab. So you can see that there's a tick mark after every 2 bars here. So let's keep it default one. Now specify interval units. Now the interval units are the name of these categories. So if I make it 2, so you can see that after every 2 bars we have the categories name here. So this is usually useful when we have here lots of categories here and it is insufficient, and when we have insufficient space on the chart, then in that case we can make the use of these. So let's have it default automatic. Now other important thing is the alignment. Now here if you see by default the Excel has aligned it on at some angle. Now if you want to change the angle, you can play with this alignment here. So I usually prefer the default Excel. I usually prefer the alignment which are defaulted by the Excel. So let us explore some options here. Like text direction is horizontal. Now if I make it rotate text, you can see it is moving here. Then rotate all text 270. Then horizontal align, you can play with this, etc. But I want to have it defaulted, so let's click this arrow, undo this. Okay, so close. Okay. Now here also under the ribbon you can see other options here. You can see the colors. You can select the colors from here directly, or you can choose this light green here, so it will change it. I prefer to have it blue. It looks more professional. Okay. Now once everything is done on this chart, and if you are satisfied, then you can save it. You can save it either on a different sheet or you can save it on the same sheet. So I usually like to save it on a different sheet. So what I will do, I will click on the move chart here, and then here also we have a move chart options. So click on the move chart and then make a new sheet, which is, let's name it a bar chart or any meaningful name. So now you can click on OK, and as soon as you click on OK, it will create a new sheet here. You can see the sheet here, bar chart, and then once it is done, you can modify it here by choosing different colors and then several other options that we have gone through just now. And suppose if you're not happy with the chart, then you can change the chart here. You can change the chart type here by right click it here, and then you can change the chart type. Now if based on the data, so now here we have a category and we have a numbers. So based on these, so you will be able to choose different chart type. Let's say I select this one. So let's see if anything changes. No change it here. Let's do right click again. Change chart type. Let's explore this option. So you can see how it changes. Then let's see if we can plot the line chart. Yeah, so we can plot the line chart also here. Let's explore others like pie chart. So here we have pie chart, and then under the pie chart you can choose color here, whatever you like. Pie chart nowadays are very less common, and it is not usually used much. So here we have other options as well. So now here's the assignment for you. So can you plot the chart of age category and response rate? And you can explore the several other options. You can plot bar chart, you can plot the line chart on this one. But before that, under the age category, since it is a number, you have to convert into the character. So something like this. So you can change it by the help of the format cell. You can right click it and change it to the character. Because if you don't change it, the chart will interpret it as a number, and then you won't be having the default option given by Excel sheet. Let us now do a plot on age category. So let's select this and go to insert and click on let's go to bar chart this time and click on this. So here you can see the Excel creates an by default bar chart, a horizontal bar. So similarly, you can change the name. So like, let's say age category versus response rate. Okay. So if you select on the chart area, then you can drag to increase or decrease the size here. So as usual, you can right click and you can do the format. So now this time let's add some minor grid lines. So here if you see, let me increase the size of the chart so that it's visible. So here you can see a minor grid line, and then you can also see a major grid line. So if you click on the major grid line and then you right click it, so here you can change the color of your major grid line, which is corresponding to the percentage here, 10%, 20%, 30%. So if you want, you can change the color. Let's say I want to change a dark black color here. So close it. And when you click on the minor grid line, then you can right click it and you can also format this. So let's say, let me change the line color now. Let's say I want a little bit lighter than the dark color. So click OK. So let's change the line style here. I want to have a dash line among the minor grid line. So close. So here you can see a dash line on the minor grid line and bold line on the major grid line. So when you click on the x-axis, let's say format axis here, you can further explore. You can change the width of the minor grid line by using this option, minor unit. Let's change it to, since it is now at 2%, you can change it to 4%. So here you can see that the number of minor grid line has been reduced here. So let's have it 2. So now here you can increase or decrease the size of the chart. But if you increase or decrease by pressing the Alt key here, let's say, then it will align to the cell boundaries here. You can see here. So it is useful when you want to have the fixed width of the chart. As you might have seen in the previous session, that Excel offers wide variety of chart like bar chart, scatter chart, pie chart, etc. And it is natural that you want to try all the charts on a similar data set. But let us see that which chart is useful for which kind of data set. So like suppose your column chart or bar chart, like here, like your column chart or the bar chart, it will be useful when your one of the column is a categorical variable and the second column is a numeric variable. So there is not much difference between the column chart and the bar chart. It is just that the bar chart displays the numerical value horizontally and the column chart displays the numerical value vertically. Likewise, the line chart can also be used for the variable which is where one of them is a categorical and one of them is a numerical variable. How about the scatter plot? The scatter plot is very useful when your both of the variable are numerical variable. Let's take an example of age and the balances. Let's select both age and balance, Control C. So let's copy on a different space on the Excel. Paste here, Control V. Select and then click on the scatter plot. Now the thing with the scatter plot here is that when there are huge amount of data, the Excel tend to respond very slowly. So here we have the warning message where that it can accommodate only 32,000 of records. So click OK. So it will take some time. So here you have the scatter plot. So you can see here is that there are some customers who maintain lots of balances, especially between the ages of 30 to 40 years. And there is one outlier between 20 to 30 years, and there are few outliers here which is between 30 to 40 years. While this distribution looks like a normal distribution here, so we cannot infer anything from this area. The only thing that we can infer here is that there are few outliers. So this is where scatter plot is useful. It is helpful to detect any outliers. So there is one more chart which is a stacked bar chart. Now stacked bar chart is used when you are having a two categories. So let's move this one. So stacked is useful when you have the two categories and one response and one numerical variable. Like in this case, if we have married and tertiary separate columns, then we can plot both of them together on a stacked bar chart. Now this pie chart is very uncommon and it is hardly used because it is quite difficult to read the pie chart. However, if you want to use the pie chart, it is useful when you have one category and one numerical variable. Though we have lots of options for plotting the charts, but the most commonly used are the three charts, which are bar chart, line chart, and the scatter plots. So 99% of the presentation, you will be seeing these three kinds of chart. So it is good to master them. As you might have seen in the previous session, that Excel offers wide variety of chart like bar chart, scatter chart, pie chart, etc. And it is natural that you want to try all the charts on a similar data set. But let us see that which chart is useful for which kind of data set. So like suppose your column chart or bar chart, like here, like your column chart or the bar chart, it will be useful when your one of the column is a categorical variable and the second column is a numeric variable. So there is not much difference between the column chart and the bar chart. It is just that the bar chart displays the numerical value horizontally and the column chart displays the numerical value vertically. Likewise, the line chart can also be used for the variable which is where one of them is a categorical and one of them is a numerical variable. How about the scatter plot? The scatter plot is very useful when your both of the variable are numerical variable. Let's take an example of age and the balances. Let's select both age and balance, Control C. So let's copy on a different space on the Excel. Paste here, Control V. Select and then click on the scatter plot. Now the thing with the scatter plot here is that when there are huge amount of data, the Excel tend to respond very slowly. So here we have the warning message where that it can accommodate only 32,000 of records. So click OK. So it will take some time. So here you have the scatter plot. So you can see here is that there are some customers who maintain lots of balances, especially between the ages of 30 to 40 years. And there is one outlier between 20 to 30 years, and there are few outliers here which is between 30 to 40 years. While this distribution looks like a normal distribution here, so we cannot infer anything from this area. The only thing that we can infer here is that there are few outliers. So this is where scatter plot is useful. It is helpful to detect any outliers. there is one more chart which is a stacked bar chart. Now stacked bar chart is used when you are having a two categorical, when you are having two categories. So let's move this one. So stacked is useful when you have the two categories and one response and one numerical variable. Like in this case, if we have married and tertiary separate columns, then we can plot both of them together on a stacked bar chart. Now this pie chart is very uncommon and it is hardly used because it is quite difficult to read the pie chart. However, if you want to use the pie chart, it is useful when you have one category and one numerical variable. Though we have lots of options for plotting the charts, but the most commonly used are the three charts, which are bar chart, line chart, and the scatter plots. So 99% of the presentation, you will be seeing these three kinds of chart. So it is good to master them. Excel pivot is one of the most important technique for a data analyst. It is used for the data aggregation by multiple groups like single, married, or diverse, or finding the sales of a smartphone every month. Most of the statistical computation can be done using pivot. In our previous session, we have used average if with the help of applying the Excel formula. Now with the help of the pivot, this can be simply done by using drag and drop process. Excel pivot helps to answer the questions like, what are the top 10 selling products? Among the smartphone, which model is the top selling? Or which sub-product among the product are incurring losses? We can also find the trends in data and isolate the exception to the general trend. In the example of this pivot table, the red color is an exception, while the dark green and the yellow show the general trend. So let's do hands-on on the Excel pivot. In the last session, we had used statistical formulae like average if to aggregate data by multiple groups like marital status, like age band, or like education. Now all those calculation that we have used in the last session for calculating the average response rate, that can be done with the help of the pivot table. The pivot table are extremely useful tool to aggregate the data without using formulae. Using pivot table eases the analysis and to a large extent it eliminates the need for statistical formulae. Now to create the pivot table, select the data and then go to the insert and then click on the pivot table. So as soon as you click on the pivot table, it will default to a new worksheet. So here we have, so new worksheet has been created, and when you go to the new worksheet, you will not see anything here. So the very first step in the pivot table is to drag the numerical value on which you want to do some calculation. Since we want to do on the response rate, so let us click on the response. So let's click this response and drag it here. So by default, it will be sum of the response, but we don't want that. We want the average. So click on the value field setting and then click on the average. So the average gives you 11.69, 0.1169 here. Now we want to convert into percentage. So let's click it here and value field setting and the number format here. And then click on the percentage, click OK. So it's 11.70 percentage. Now, so what is the categorical value you want to use? So let's say, let's use the marital status. So I'll click on the marital and drag on the row level. So here we are. So you can easily see that how easy it is to create the pivot table. Now from this, we can easily say that single customers are a good customer for the bank marketing product. Now, if we want to have the response rate calculation on the multiple categorical value, so what you can do, you can select on one of the category value and let us drag down on the row level. So here you can see. So here you can see under diverse, we are having 4 educational values. So from this, we can easily conclude that single tertiary is the one which can be targeted because it is having 18.36% as a response rate. Let us now explore some more option here. So let me remove the categorical value that we have selected. Let's remove from here. Remove from here. So let us see the job. How does it perform here? Okay. Now we have dragged down the job, and let's change the name here. So to have a meaningful name, response rate. Okay. Now here we can see that the students are having the maximum response rate. So now we can do the order by. So short A to J. So you can see it has been ordered by the row labels. The admin blue color has been ordered by. But what if you want to order by the response rate? So still you can click it here. Then more short option. Then ascending A to G. Let's have descending response rate. So click OK. So here you can see students are the one having the highest response rate, and the blue color jobs are having the lowest response rate, which is 7.27%. So let us see what other option we can have. Let me drag down the micro status here. Let's put it on the column. So now here you can see the response rate in the combination of the student in the job and the micro status. So let me do order by at the column labels. So I will click it here and more short option, then descending, and make it response rate here and click it OK. So here we are. Now here if you see, it has been ordered by the micro status. Now the student and the single are having the highest response rate. So in order to have an easy understanding, let me do a conditional formatting here. So click it. So color scale. So let's click it here. So now you can easily find out that student and single are having the highest response rate. And if you see here, the retired and the divorced are having the second highest response rate, which is 28.4, which is interesting. On the other hand, blue collar and the married people is having the lowest response rate. So you can see that at the other corner of the matrix, it shows the highest, and the last corner of the matrix, it shows the lowest. But of course, there are some exceptions between, like say unknown and the divorced are having 5.88, which is the lowest among all. But the general tendency is that the one of the corner will display the highest response rate, and the other corner will display the lowest response rate, which is. So let us now arrange this matrix in the other way. If I drag the micro status down below the job level, let's see what will happen here. So now here you can see that under the student, single are the one having the high response rate, and under the retired, you can see the divorce are having the high response rate. Now I can further change the order. If I want to find out within the marital status which job is having the highest response rate, what I can do, I can just invert it like this. So I put a job here and then I drag job down. So you can see that under the single, again the students are having a high response rate, and under the divorce, so we can see the breakdown by the jobs. Let us see what happens if I move the job at the column level. So I drag it at the column level. Here we are. So dragging on the column level does not give a good matrix and is not user friendly here, because the jobs are having a lot of values. So the good option is the job should be at the row level and marital should be at the column level. So let me drag marital to the column level. So here we are. So this gives a good matrix. Now here we are observing the percentage rate. But what if you want to see the number of actual number of response? So what I can do, I can go here and then I click on the value field setting and I can change the count, change the number format. Let's say I want to have only number, and then I remove the decimals. So click OK. OK. So here you can see the count of the customer who said yes to the telemarketing products. So here unknown and divorce is having 17, and student and divorce is having the lowest response. Then the highest response belongs to the, and subsequently we can see that blue collar and the married one are having the highest one. In this session, we will go through the most complex and the most useful Excel function, which is VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP helps to merge data from the multiple sheets and Excel if there is a common column. But if there is no common column, then VLOOKUP will not work. Let's take an example. Suppose you are having a data of job, customer name, his department, etc. But on a separate sheet, you are having a data of the average salary per job type. So now the way to merge is by using the VLOOKUP table, where we are going to look up the job of the employee against the other sheet where there is the average salary mentioned against each job type. Now VLOOKUP has got the 4 argument like lookup value, value to be found, table array, table in which the lookup value has to be searched in our example with a job type against each average salary, and then column index return, index of the column that has to be written. So here we have to return the average salary against the job type, a range lookup, default false. This range lookup should always be default to false. Note that the value that we are searching should be the first column in the target table. And when looking up a value from another Excel file, the target file should be in the same directory as the parent file. Because with the help of a VLOOKUP, we can merge even the different Excel file, and those Excel files should be in the same directory. Now the top mistake while using the VLOOKUP are as follow. The key column to be searched should be the first column in the target table. In our example, job type should always be the first column, meaning the salary should be on the right of the job type. And an error due to missing dollar sign. This error usually occur in VLOOKUP when we have missed the dollar sign from the range. And the last argument in VLOOKUP is mostly false, should always be false. So we will do the hands-on on VLOOKUP, and then we will come to know what is the actual meaning of these mistakes. Let's say suppose we want to find out the response rate for the combination of marital and education for a particular type of job. Let's say for a self-employed who is single and having a tertiary education, what is the response rate? So this can be achieved by using the filter condition. So let us create a pivot again. Let me remove, and then let me select the job in the report filter. And since we want response rate, so let me change this format here and make it percentage, average, number format, and I want percentage up to, let's say, to decimal. Click OK. Okay, now here job we are having a filter condition. Let me select the one with the self-employed and then click on OK. Now for the self-employed, the average response rate is 11.84%. Let's see marital, and I want education at the row level. Okay. So here we have the matrix. So let us order by response rate here. So more short option, descending, and then average. So click OK. And even column level we will also do sorting, descending G to A, and click on OK. So here we are. And then I will do the number formatting. Let's say this. Okay. So now here you can easily observe that a customer who is self-employed, and if his education is tertiary, and if he is single, he has got the highest response rate. And also we can find out there are certain exceptions like primary and a single is having a 0 response rate, while the divorce and unknown is also having a 0 response rate. So these are the customer which a telemarketing agent should be avoiding. So let us explore what is the count here. Let me change the number format. Let's change the number format here, value field setting, and then count. Click on OK. So I want to remove the percentage, number format, number, OK, OK. So basically the total number of count for the secondary and the single is 112, but the percentage response is 0. So it means that none of them has said yes to the telemarketing, to the bank product. So I will change it back to the percentage again. And let us explore some other options. So let me first change the percentage. And then I want average here, and then click on OK. So let us select another job. So click on the filter, let's say blue collar, and click on OK. Now for the blue collar, you can see that the secondary and diverse, we are having 5.43%. And again here, tertiary and single is having the highest response rate, and primary and merit is having the lowest response rate. Let's say management, click on OK. So under the management, we are having a different trends. So you can see here, if the person is at the management level and if his education is unknown and if he is a diverse, so the percentage response rate is very, very high. It's 22.58%. And if he is married, it is almost similar to the diverse. So basically, the good customers are the one whose education is unknown and if they are diverse or if they are married. But if their education is primary and if they are diverse, they are having a 0%. Now here we can do a multiple selection. Let's say currently I'm in a management. Now I can do a multiple selection. So click here and select multiple. So let's say I want to select blue collar and admin and then click on OK. So here the response rate is a combined result of the multiple jobs here. So here you can see the multiple items. So let me remove the job from here and let us select another filtration. Let's say I want age. So let's drag marital at the column and education at the row level. So here we are. So here we are having a multiple. So here we have an age band and this is the response rate for the age band. And let me select the age band which is after the retirement. So I will select 9, 8, 7 and 6 and click on OK. I will do further sorting here, G to A. Short option, descending average response rate. Click OK. And on the column also I will do short option. Click on OK. So here we are. So for the retired customers, and if his education is tertiary and if he's a diverse, so he has got the highest response rate. So let me do a conditional formatting on this one and click on this. So here you can see this color is very dark here. Let us now summarize what we have learned just now on the pivot table. In order to create the pivot table, you need to simply select the data from A1 to the last cell value and then click on the insert here and select the pivot table. So it will create a new sheet here. Now to create the matrix-like structure, you need to simply drag and drop the value, keeping in mind the targeted numerical value. Since our point of observation is on the response rate, so what we have done, first we have dragged the response rate to the value column. Now the matrix-like pivot table helps to answer the questions like, among the married people, which is the best job type? Now the values in the pivot table can be sorted. Applying conditional formatting to the sorted value helps to understand the trend in the data, and it helps to isolate the exception to the general trend. Like my general trend is that blue collar and the married people are having the highest response, count of highest response, and the last cell is supposed to have the lowest value. But then there is an exception here, like student and diverse is showing the lowest response, and student and single is having a little bit higher response. So these are the exceptional cases. Now we should remember a one thumb rule for the statistical analysis. Before using any data to extrapolate here means that our analysis on a sample of data, can this be applied on an entire population? The thumb rule is that your count of record should be more than 30. It means the number of observations should be more than 30 in order to extrapolate the data at the population level. Let's say suppose you have data in two different sheets or two different tables and you wish to combine the data from both of the sheets. Then how you can do that? So you can do with the help of an Excel formula, which is a VLOOKUP. Now the basic idea of VLOOKUP is to merge two tables using a common column. If there is no common column among the table, then merging of the two tables is not possible. So let's say suppose I am having a bank marketing data set, and for the job I want to find out the salary. The way to do is that I can insert one column here and I can name it as a salary, and then I can encode the average salary of each of them. Let's say student, obviously they will have 0 salary, and then like blue collar, they'll be having 5,000 salary. So I can do it one by one. But let's say suppose I'm having another table which display the salary of each of the job type. Let's say sheet here. So here I am already having a salary of student which is 0. Blue collar is 5,000. Services is 11,000. Management is having 100,000. So now I can either encode manually or I can apply some formula which will compare this occupation, which is column A, against this column, which is column D, and gives the salary as the output. The way to do is a VLOOKUP. So let's see how we can do it. So I put equal to sign here and start typing VLOOKUP, and then let's click the fx function here, click here. So here we are having a 4 parameter in the VLOOKUP function. The first is the lookup value. Now the lookup value is the column D. So D2 here. Table array is the table from which we need to do a VLOOKUP. So here under the sheet 1, we have this table. So I will select this. So sheet A1 to B13, and column index number is the value from which we need to pick up the data. So here we need to pick up the data from the second column, which is column B under the income. So I'll put here 2. And range lookup. Now the range lookup, you should understand by default it should always be a false. Though you can put here true also, but I have never ever used the true. So false you can put it here, and it already displays the 0 value, which is for the student. So I click OK here. So let us try same thing on the other. So again I do a VLOOKUP here, and then I click on the fx here. So lookup value is my D49. Table array is the sheet 1, and then column index is 2, and it should be a false. So here you can see 5,000 is already getting displayed. Now what if I want to do on all the cells? So obviously you can put here $sign here, so it should not change. The range should not change. The thing to be changed is this. So I click on it. Now when we click on the first formula, it defaulted 0 for each student, but for the blue color we have also used the function here. We have also used the formula here. So what I will do, so we need to fix it here also. You have to put $sign here, dollar, so that it doesn't change it here. And now we can press control and you can see. So let's do it here also. In the previous session, we have calculated the salary by using the VLOOKUP formula here. And when you see the formula, it looks quite complex here because of this range. Now there is an easier way to do this. We can simply replace this range by some name. Let's say I go to the sheet 1. Okay. So now here we can name this range by some meaningful name. So let's see, I can name it as salary 1, and scope is sheet here, and click on OK. So once we have given the meaningful name to these columns, so we can come here and we can type VLOOKUP and then bracket. So lookup value is D2, table array is So we can simply put it here and it will read the salary 1 here. Column index is 2 and range is false. Okay. So now here you can see, now this looks quite simple here and is easy to read, and I will just click it here. So it gives me the same results. Now can we also apply the VLOOKUP formula from the different sheet, from a different Excel sheet instead of the current Excel sheet? And it turns out that yes, we can apply it. So here I am having the second sheet here. So here you can see the first column is marital and second is education. Now I want to combine both of them into a single column, which is marital education. And then I want to tag this combination of the values as qualified for the marketing product, yes or no. Now to do that, you can see here, if I click it here, I have used this formula, which is A1 concatenate B1. Now in this sheet, we have this separate column. So I will add a new column here, insert. One more column I will add for the qualified here. Now I need to concatenate this. To concatenate, you can simply go to this Excel and you can copy this and you can paste it here. So you can see that formula has been copied automatically. And then you can simply drag down. Now let's apply the VLOOKUP. So let me name the column as it is here, qualified here. Is the qualified yes or no? So let us now apply the formula here. VLOOKUP, bracket close, H2. Let's click on this. So table array is my other sheet, which is this. Remember that column C, which is a lookup value, should always be on the left side, and column D, which is a target value, should be always on the right side of the lookup value. If it is not so, then it will not give the correct result. It will return a NA values or unknown values. So this is the one takeaway from this. Again, I repeat here, this is a very common mistake. The column C, which is a lookup value, should always be on the left side of the target value, which is qualified YN. Suppose if my column C is under the column E, then my lookup formula will not work. Okay, column index is 2 and range is always false. So click on OK. So here we are. So here you can see that under the range, it gives me the name of the Excel and the sheet on the Excel. Remember that if my Excel, which is qualified underscore YN, is not in the same directory as the bank marketing Excel, then this VLOOKUP will not work. So for VLOOKUP to work and for it to read from the different Excel, both of the Excel files should be in the same directory. And second thing is then this marital education, which is a lookup column, should always be on the left side of the target one. And third point to note here is that this referencing column should always start with dollar and supersede with dollar. But when you are reading from the different Excel, it is automatically added here. But on the same sheet, we have to add it manually, or we have to rename it as a useful name.